believe so.
Now, we're going to be talking about Afghanistan, what the U.S. has done, we are probably going to do, and what our opinions on that are, especially the political situation within the U.S. because of Afghanistan.
Right.
Now, I'm going to be very clear and upfront on where I stand, which is that it's way too late that we've left, and that we should have left as soon as we got Bin Laden. What do you think?
I believe there's a lot of mixed feelings involved when it comes to what we should have done and what we shouldn't have done, because the sad situation, in my opinion, is every time we bring somebody into the office, they're picking up the bullshit or the fuck shit from what the other person has done previous to them. And then they're trying to enforce or engage their own agenda of particularly what they think is necessary to be the best of what they can be in that regard. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Every president, every new administration, unless they're successive in their party or whatever, they're always going to have a different viewpoint. And in recent years, it's always been one administration is completely the opposite of the other.
Sure.
With Afghanistan in particular, I think it's basically another Vietnam for us, only even worse, because in Vietnam, we at least had some allies that were willing to fight. The problem is that we did not consult our allies at all. In Afghanistan, we had what we considered allies, but in reality, we did not.
True.
And we stayed at least 19 years too long, in my opinion. Maybe even longer than that.
How long were we in Vietnam?
Well, Vietnam from about 1965 to 1973, when the Vietnam War ended, because for us, by 1975, North Vietnam had taken over South Vietnam.
Right. So true.
But Biden is getting a lot of the blame for what's happening in Afghanistan. In reality, he's picking up where Trump left off. Biden was never in favor of huge troop strength in Afghanistan. He agreed with invading because we needed to get Bin Laden, but after a while, he didn't want us to send in more troops. So he's being very consistent on his record in that case. Like, we shouldn't be there, in his opinion.
Right.
And actually, Trump was the one who first wanted to withdraw from Afghanistan in his administration and started planning it.
Right.
But the way he planned things, if he had done the withdrawal in Afghanistan, I think it would have been even worse, because we saw what happened in Syria. He withdrew troops and left the Kurds, our allies, the best fighters in the area, to the Turks and ISIS.
Right. Well, I mean, however you look at it, man, the shit gonna end up in a blood spell regardless. You understand? People are gonna still retaliate. You know, it don't matter what time it is. It's like putting a motherfucking thorn in somebody's body. When you pull out, it's gonna still bleed. So it doesn't matter if you wait to do it tonight or if you wait to do it in the next morning, nigga. It's still gonna bleed. So it's gonna be like some, you know what I'm saying? Like I hate how the world allows themselves to. I'm saying like everyone deserves to have an opinion to be heard in this situation, but it's like, nigga, if you're not really in it, you don't know the rules and parameters that goes all around it, because you know what I'm saying? Like it's a heavy fucking burden, first of all. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a heavy ass burden. And I'm not saying he's right, I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying, as a fucking human being, to have all that responsibility on one fucking person, that's some shit.
It can be, yeah. I mean, Biden's been trying to become president. He tried 4 times, including this time, and he finally achieved his dream. And I mean, Biden's a little different from what we're used to in politicians, because when he entered the Senate, he had just suffered a huge personal tragedy in the loss of his wife and his baby daughter, the injuring of his 2 sons, and he also entered the poor senator. He didn't have time to make all that money because he was so young when he went in. But then he became basically a career politician, and Biden is a good person. I am absolutely certain of that. And he's a passionate person. But as a politician, I feel he falls way too in line with ideals that I do not agree with. Like right now, the one thing that nobody wants, well, I'm going to stay on Afghanistan. The one thing nobody wants right now is compromise with the other side. And that's both good and bad.
Yeah.
Like in terms of Afghanistan, everybody's placing the blame on Biden, when in reality, Biden, even though he's the president, he has to take advice on military matters from his generals in the Pentagon.
Right.
So what happened in the Pentagon that made them think that the Afghan army, better armed, better numbers against the Taliban, who are better fighters and way more support in most areas of that country, what made the Pentagon think that it was going to end up well for the Afghan army? Like, because obviously they just gave up. What gave them such confidence that they could say, we're withdrawing our troops and we're leaving it to the Afghan army to fight the Taliban? Because whatever went on in those conversations, they obviously didn't think about the idea that the Afghan army would simply give up in a matter of days.
Right.
I mean, when it comes to foreign policy, I'm not as strong on my other issues as I am on other issues. Like, I'm more non-interventionist for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think we should allow countries to self-determine for themselves what they want, with influence from other countries, but unless there's a humanitarian problem going on, we should not interfere with military might. That's my opinion. What about you?
In regards to which part?
Foreign policy, where do you think you stand? Like, should we be a completely isolationist country? Should we intervene with military force or huge amounts of politics in every country? Should we engage in coups? Should we have free trade or regulated trade?
So many variables when it comes to that. Like, so for trade, I'll start with trade. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's profitable, you got to look at trade like, I probably shouldn't say it like this. It's like, yeah, let me be very wise of how I say this, because I don't know who the hell watching. When it comes to policies, it's more so like looking at shit in the sense where if you provide a product and that product is good, why not, see what we can both do to, like, uphold and uplift each other in that shit so we're both successful. It's kind of like how, you reached out or whatever like that and you said, yo, who the hell wants to, have these conversations? Okay. You're providing a premise. You're providing an opportunity. Now it's up to see if motherfuckers are going to want to jump to get it. So I'm like, you know what? Hey, I see what the hell you're doing. I respect what you're doing from the outside looking in. So you know what? Let's see if we can do some type of fucking business. Let's see if we can make this shit profitable for the both of us. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And like, if it works, it works. If it don't, it work. It doesn't. But you know what I'm saying? 2 tears in a bucket. Fuck it. Just move the fuck on from it. But don't, like, stress it so much. And I feel like a lot of times when we start enforcing with the military and shit, it's like, I understand that you gotta provoke motherfuckers with fear. Like, I do. I get it to an extent. But it's like, if they're not a threat to us, if they're not doing nothing to us, why the fuck are you flexing? Does that not make sense?
It makes sense, yeah. The way I look at it, the military and how we use it in foreign affairs, the military is there to set and the power behind it is not to be used to just impose our will is to set a goddamn lesson. When you exercise your power, you don't do it in an sweeping gestures like all over the place. You do it in a very targeted way to set the lesson that you don't mess with the U.S. military.
Right, you don't mess with the U.S. military. But see, when I hear things like that and I hear people speak of that, like it takes my mind directly to like some Hitler type shit. We understand that, yo, this nigga was a force. And even Stalin, even what's the other motherfucker? Lenin was it? No, not
Mao.
Nah, the dude in fucking All right, so Russia had Stalin, right?
They did.
Hitler had Hitler was Germany. Who was the other dude? It was another dude.
Mussolini or Toto?
There you go, Mussolini. Yeah, Mussolini, that nigga. All right, so from him, they all had certain powers. So all right, I'm not gonna fuck with that country. I'm not gonna deal with that country because they have shown that they have brute strength. I think over the years we have shown, regardless of who's in charge, we have shown that we have the highest technology. Kinda, the only country that can like match up with us or like really kind of go head to head with us is what? China. Other than that, no one else can like see us in that regard. So like, what do you have to prove is what I'm getting at.
Well, unfortunately,
when you have a legacy like that.
Yeah, the problem is that we have politicians who want to flex muscles so they can gain political opportunities. They're political opportunists, and the idea of using showing our quote unquote strength is their way of getting into political office.
Right.
I mean, there's so many different ways to get into political office, and only the ones that garner the most media attention are the ones that get you in. So you can say the most outrageous things and it will get you elected.
No, that's true. That's true.
But for me, when it comes to foreign policy, as I just said, I am more about. I do believe in some free trade and some regulated trade. It depends on the product.
Yes, it depends on the product.
Like if we're selling weapons to another country, it needs to be done mainly through the government, not exclusively, but mainly, and it needs to come with conditions to those weapons. Like, and I don't mean like just monetary. I mean like, here's some steps you have to take. Here's some guidelines you need to follow with these weapons. Like, if we're going to give like 200,000 assault rifles to any army, we're going to say, here's some things you cannot do to your populace now that you're getting these weapons, or that you have to guarantee these kind of rights or something. Like, if you don't reach these benchmarks, we're not willing to keep trading you these weapons.
Right.
And if we see that it's a good investment on that kind of term, then we provide more. If not, we cut them off. Sure. Because those weapons are only going to last so long.
So long.
Same thing with, I think the only thing that we shouldn't regulate in terms of like just straight up humanitarian reasons is things like food and medicine. Mm-hmm. Like that should be just like, just sell it, just sell it, or give it away even, because there's only so much you can do with regulated trade or free trade. You need a mix.
That's true.
And I do believe the United States, up until the beginning of World War I, we were fairly isolationist. Like, we really just wanted to cut ourselves off from the rest of the world in a lot of ways. But
you said before World War I, right?
Yeah, and then when we went into World War I, there was still a significant portion of the country that was against the war. And when the war was over, there was a lot of people, the majority, who said in Gallup polls that we should not have entered World War I. It wasn't our war. That it was a mistake.
I don't think we've ever. Let me get my history right, man, because I used to say that I had a B- in history. So let me make sure that I'm proving myself right in there. I don't believe there was that many wars that we really truly needed or that were ever necessary with us, besides the Revolutionary War, obviously, independence from Britain. Pearl Harbor was what? That was World War II, correct?
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, we got into that because they fucked with us. So that was necessary.
Yep.
Vietnam, we should have minded our business on that one, definitely. There was too many casualties that were lost over something that had nothing to do with us at all. What was the shit in '94? Persian, no, like you're in the early '90s. There was something like in the Gulf.
Desert Storm, the Gulf War, and there was also something right before that in '93 in Somalia.
Yeah, but see, I feel like all that's all kind of. I feel like that time period, everything was kind of like fused together, but I feel like it was like kind of like a domino effect. It was like, all right, some bullshit happened over here, which led to the more bullshit happening over here, and so it's like all combusted together in that regard. So that's why.
The reason it all happened in that short span of time from 93, 94 and onward really quickly is because the Cold War has just ended. The Soviet Union has broken apart, and all these new nations are trying to form, and a lot of wars are being fought, a lot of anger is coming to the surface again, a lot of ethnic conflict. And at first there's this moment of like, wait, we can all work together in this world now that the Soviet Union's gone. We can work together. We have a chance. And then reality hit us all. And it's like, no, we have barely changed it.
I don't think we've changed much over the past 200 years, honestly. Technology-wise, yeah. But I was like looking at things today, for example, when you read the Constitution, I know this is going to be basically off base of what the fuck we're talking about, but like if you read the Constitution, a lot of the Constitution is still implicated in the sense of like, and before I start saying anything, I don't want no motherfuckers on here saying, oh, he pulling the black card bullshit again. No, it's not that. It's truly the simple fact that when you read the Constitution, everything is still prompted as if there are people above other fucking people. I don't need to specify the demographic, but you know what the fuck I'm saying. So yes. It's like what was it, the 13th Amendment and the 5th Amendment, if I remember correctly.
13th and 15th.
All right, there you go. So with that, go ahead.
The 13th Amendment happened in the beginning of 1865, right before the Civil War's end, and it was the abolition of slavery in the United States.
Right.
The 14th and 15th Amendment happened a couple of years later because of all the violence that was happening in the South by the KKK and the Southerners in general. And the radical Republicans of the Congress wanted to show up Andrew Johnson, who had shown way too much leniency in their minds to white Southerners.
Right. So I feel like a lot of things in that regard needs to be fixed, readjusted to move with the time, because that's how people get away with a lot of bullshit, and we can call it loopholes, whatnot. You know what I mean? So in that's why I'm saying it's. We've come far, but we haven't come that far as people like to say.
You're right. I would say that in terms of where the Western world, in terms of the idea of civilized nations, again, in quotes, we have come a long way in the way we view actions.
Right.
Individuals and groups, but not in the behavior necessarily of nations. Because every nation does have its own selfish interests, and the job of the government of those nations is not to help other governments and other nations, it's to help themselves. If you can help the other nation in the meantime, that's a bonus, but it's not a prerequisite.
Gotcha.
That's why the international community is such a mess, because everybody has literally their own agenda. And while some of them align, a lot more are completely at odds with each other, and they only see the destruction of one as winning.
Mm-hmm.
And like people say that the like Iran or or the Palestinians, they see the destruction of Israel as the end game, as the idea that that's exactly what they want. And I can't say whether that is exactly what they want. I can say that Israel is not helping matters. And with the U.S. backing them, I'm like, Israel's powerful enough to stand up on its own right now. If it has the U.S. backing them, then there's no way that they'll ever die, because nowadays Israel is powerful.
Right.
So why are they still using such terrible tactics against the Palestinians by occupying them and putting up checkpoints and putting all these restrictions on them that were put on the Jewish people for so long?
Let's make it understood: the Palestinians and the Jews are never going to ever stop. That's beyond us. That's beyond. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I hope you're wrong.
No, I'm not. I'm not wrong with that. Like, the Palestinians and the Jews will always clash because it goes way back before civilization was civilization. Like, you know, I'm not gonna enforce and push, you know, spirituality per se in this conversation, but I mean, if you read the Bible, like, this is what's gonna always be until the end of time. That's one thing that's constant that will never ever stop.
I can't agree with that. It's politics. It's politics.
It's not politics. It goes straight back from Abraham and Ishmael. That's literally what it is at the end of the day. All that BS is like, it's like a never-ending family feud. Like, literally, that's what it is. If anyone's really watching this shit, like, that's truly what it is at the end of the day. Yes, it's different countries, but it's different countries that are prompted, and that's based on a foundation of two freaking individuals. That's, I mean, you know, people are not gonna agree with it. You're not, you know, if you believe, you believe. You don't, you don't. But like, at the end of the day, that's really what the fuck it is, because it's been like that since BC, since AD till present day. That won't ever change. Like, that is one constant.
I'm sorry, I just don't agree. I do think that I do hope. I mean, my expectations are extremely low, but my hopes are hope that we can have a two-state solution where we have the Israelis, we have the Palestinians coming to the table, or forced to the table, hope, even if we have to, and get a negotiation going. It's not going to be the Palestinians conquer the Israelis. That's not going to happen. And it's not going to be the Israelis terrorizing the Palestinians, because that's exactly what's going on. And as somebody of Jewish descent, I can see where it's coming from because of the right-wing government in Israel, but it makes me ashamed.
Right.
Ashamed. And I don't agree with right-wingers in almost anything. But, well, fundamentalism, fundamental right-wingers. And that's exactly what the government of Israel was and still is to this point. And I'm like, this is just not cool. Like, you can't simply use force. You have to use some diplomacy to get a solution, because just conquering them is not going to work, because they're just going to keep fighting forever. Right. You can't terrorize an entire population unless you have the sanctions of all nations, and there's no way Israel is going to get that, which I'm glad of. I mean, the Nazis tried it and they still couldn't succeed. They came closest and they failed. Thank God.
Anybody that ever watches this shit, I want y'all to know, like, I've known this boy for like years. We're looking at like 5 or 6 years now. And he's different, but he's like cool. He's like that cool different. Like, you don't expect to, like, literally. It's not. I'll say it like this. I remember when I first met you, we were talking about something crazy that had nothing to do with anything, and then all of a sudden, nigga, you want to throw fucking politics in the conversation. And I looked at you like, who the fuck is this kid? But the more I listened to you, I was like, young, he's on to something. Like, he is on to something. So anybody that subscribed to this shit, that listens to this channel, man, Andrew is the real deal when it comes to, like, knowledge of the politics. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to make it like that. I could classify other, you know, subtopics in this, but when it comes to politics, this is one of the most knowledgeable people I know, and that's why I have nothing but respect for him. So I love having conversations because sometimes even when I'm just talking, I walk away learning something that I didn't know from his ass, and that's real.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks, Philip. I appreciate that. You're a
For
good
sure.
person to have a conversation with because you are very open-minded and you want to hear, you want to listen. You're
Hell
not
yeah.
simply pushing what your ideas are.
Never. Nah. That's how we grow. That's how we learn as a people, man. It's about understanding differences and understanding why the fuck do you think the way you fucking think. You understand? It's not about like, oh, okay, it's my thoughts and my thoughts is all that matters. Nigga, fuck you. No, it doesn't work like that. That's not how we move as a country. That's not how we move as a people. There's certain things that I agree with him about. There's certain things that I don't agree with that's about. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's the fact that we can always walk away and say that we learned something, and the fact that we still have that respect. And there's never been no lines that have ever been crossed where it's disrespectful. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's right.
And I've had political discussions with some people before, and most of the time they're very good. But occasionally you run across the people that are just set in stone. They're like, they're not going to change. And they tell you straight up, or into the conversation, they're like, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. It's never just, I don't agree. It's you're wrong.
Right.
And so I think people underestimate how much influence our political beliefs have on our psyche.
It does, and it's kind of scary and it's sad. But I look at it like this. I'm not fucking what's the word? I'm not conservative, I'm not liberal. I feel like any person, I'm watching how I say certain things because I don't know the crowd, so I'm trying to like, you know, be as politically correct. But you know me, after a while, I'm gonna say fuck it, and I think I'm at that fuck it mode. So now I'm about to just blurt out a whole bunch of shit, and you know how I get when I do this.
Yes.
So here we go. First of all, I want to make it understood. Anybody that's listening, watching this shit, if you liberal and either you're a conservative, let me tell you right now, you dumb as shit. You're dumb as fuck for having one particular side, because there's certain policies and there's certain things on both sides as a human that you're gonna believe in. You know what I'm saying? So you like it's not humanly possible to say I am completely this and I'm nothing else. Because at the end of the day, if you're looking in the mirror, you're lying to yourself. And if you're lying to yourself, how the fuck can you tell anybody else in the world how the fuck to think? Because nigga, you don't even know who the fuck you are. Gunshots. Bang. That's one. Now two. We live in a world where a lot of people are going to feel certain things, they're going to think certain things, and if you're not having the wantingness to want to learn and listen, then how can you educate? How can you be a leader? This Harry Potter looking ass motherfucker on here is a leader, regardless if you want to believe it or not. He is. Because he stands on what the fuck he believes in, and he's always there to listen, and he's always there to be there to help and be willingly to not be so disregarded to ideas and policies and shit. And I gotta commend you on that. Like, I was watching some of your shit, dog. I have, and I get it. There's a lot of things I feel like I could help you with, I'm not gonna lie. But other than that, like, you know, this motherfucker is spot on with what he does. So all y'all subscribers listening, you know, like, sometimes just leave him a comment. Give him some, you know, give him some advice. And if that's something that you don't agree with, fuck it, let it be known. Don't be scared to talk to this kid. Because he's willing to listen, and he's willing to make a change in the world. If there's anybody I want to, like, you know, have these conversations with, he's on my top 3, definitely, without question.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, no problem. That ain't no cap, that ain't no hype shit, it's just facts. So yeah, with that being stated, man, like, I like this conversation. So what else you want to do? How else do you want to go about this?
Well, I want us to cover one last foreign policy thing, at least what I believe would be foreign policy, and that is, what should we do with the COVID vaccine and the formulas that go along with it to reach out to the rest of the world? Should we simply give it away? Should we allow the businesses to sell it? Should we have governments enforce it? What should be the plan for the COVID vaccine to the rest of the world?
I got multiple views on COVID alone.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to speak on certain things on here because of certain shit. But I feel as a human, you have the right to think what you want to think, to feel what you want to feel, and having the vaccine or not having the vaccine. Only you know yourself. Only you know your body. But also at the same time, be aware of what the fuck's around you. I feel like a lot of people right now are dumb as shit. I'm not even being funny with this one. Like, I really believe the world is dumb as fuck, and we're showing the other world how dumb we are. Like, if a country like New Zealand cannot have any motherfuckers that hardly have anything in there. I think they had like one occurrence that just happened recently in the past week. But remember, they were wiped clean for months. This is New Zealand. They don't have what the fuck we have. And we supposed to be the greatest country in the world, nigga. The greatest fucking country in the world. People fucking run and leave their fucking countries to come here because this is the shit. This is the club. This is the spot. And you got a country that's not even on the lines of that can do everything that's necessary to do, and then nobody has to deal with this shit. I feel like America, I don't give a fuck about who's patriotic on here, who gonna feel whatever and say whatever. America has made some of y'all niggas some bitches. Some privileged ass brats. Nobody's gonna tell me what to do. Nobody's gonna control me. I'm gonna do this and that. Shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? I look at it like this. I have my own way of going about things with this. I'm not gonna relay them. But I'm just going to say something in a general sense. There's a pandemic that's going on in the world that's been over for about like almost a year and a half now, correct?
Been over or been going on?
It's been going on for over a year and a half, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, with this being stated, what is one thing we know? We know that motherfuckers are dying. They are dying. Tragically. And we know that people are still getting sick. Why are they still getting sick? Now, here's the thing. We had to shut down the country. And then, for whatever dumb reason, the world wanted to say, no, we don't need to be shut down. We need to go back out. And we need to fuck up more shit. And we need to make sure that other people get fucked up. Like, common logic. If you go outside the house, there's a higher chance that you're going to catch something. That's just common logic. I don't care if you take it, if you don't take the vaccine, it doesn't matter. It's common knowledge. If you go outside your fucking door, there's a higher probability that you're going to catch something. So my thing is, why go out as much as you are and do all these extracurricular things when everyone else is thinking the same thing as you and y'all all combust together and everyone gets fucked up? I understand that we have to go out for groceries. I understand we have to go out for work. But other than that, nigga, stay the fuck in the house. That's it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But tell me, how am I wrong? That's what I want to hear. I want to know. I know. I want to know.
common logic, you're not wrong.
Thank you.
Politically, you're wrong. Politically.
But how is this politics? Politics have nothing to do with common sense, because what you're saying right now is just like this. How is it politics when it comes to common knowledgeable things? That's like you saying, well, you know what? This is a liberal thing for you to take tissue and wipe your ass. What? It's common knowledge. You got shit, wipe the fuck off your butt, nigga, and then throw the shit away. That's common knowledge. That has nothing to do with politics.
But it was made politics. It's
made politics because the world is fucking retarded. That's what I'm getting at.
Yes. Yes, this world was fucked up by politics. I think we can all agree to that.
So the fact that we think that it has to deal with policies is how retarded America is. And this is why the country sit there and they laugh. And that's why some of our enemies or whatever, like, these bitch ass motherfuckers, are you really serious? Like, that's sad. That is sad. It's not like we being fucked over by some high advanced crazy college shit. This is like this is like elementary okie doke shit. Are you serious? You have watched Saturday morning cartoons. Have you or have you not?
I have.
Okay, we've watched superheroes, we've watched bad guys. Everything that's going on is some Saturday morning fucking bullshit that we would watch when we were fucking kids. It's not even advanced shit. How you gonna act like you don't know what's gonna happen next? Oh, duh. You know what I'm saying? Anyone that's watching this should tell me I'm wrong. I dare you motherfuckers. Please. And that's not a flex. That's for real. Come on, man.
I can't tell you you're wrong. I just wish that half the country didn't think you were wrong. But I'm going to give my quick opinion on the COVID thing at home and abroad. At home, we have fucked up. I mean, we tried. We did okay at first, and then we fucked up again. And we continue to fuck up because politicians are deciding to make a more and more political issue out of this because they think they'll win votes. And they're willing to let constituents die because they want to political grandstand and to just push forward their own agendas, whether it's good for the country or not.
Right.
And I disagree with anybody who does that. I don't give a damn what party you're from. I don't give a damn what your background is. You push this idea that the COVID virus is not going to kill you, or that the COVID vaccine is not going to help you and in fact could hurt you. You are political grandstanding and ignoring the science, ignoring the medical advice. Because
hold on. Rewind. I want to make sure I heard that correctly. Say that again.
I said, I don't care what party you're from. I don't care what your background is. If you're using the COVID virus, which is killing people, and the COVID vaccine, which could save people, and you're saying that it's not as dangerous, or the vaccine is dangerous, then you're just political grandstanding. You're only pushing your own agenda. It's political opportunism to get yourself more votes, and you're willing to put other people at risk for that.
You don't think possibly? Again, I'm not going to enforce my thoughts on anything. I want to make this understood. I haven't said if I'm for it, if I haven't been for it. Because I could say whatever something right now, and I could think exactly the opposite of what the fuck I'm saying.
True. So devil's advocate.
Yay and nay.
Okay.
So let me just throw this narrative out here.
All right.
Everyone listening, please listen. Shut the fuck up and hear me out. Because I know I probably have pissed some of y'all off already. Pansies. You don't think possibly it's weird that we live in a country where there's a lot of things that do go on where it's, how do I want to word this? I feel like you don't think it's crazy, first of all, that there's a narrative that's been enforced where they're like, you have to have this, you have to have this. Because my thing is this. I'm not saying I'm against the vaccine. I'm not saying I'm for the vaccine. I'm just saying we have other issues that have gone on in the world before the vaccine. And no country, I mean, our country has it collectively come together to say, you know what, we need to take care of this because we care about you. We want to help you.
You're saying we haven't done that?
We really haven't. We have never done something so collectively where it's like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, does that not look kind of suspicious? Just a little bit. Not being conspiracy theorists or anything, just like common knowledge. Do you not think that's weird? Again, I'm proud to be American. Again, I might not truly think what I'm saying to you, but I'm trying to see it on both sides. So I want to have this conversation, and I want people to understand. Don't you think, for the people that are against this, that it's kind of weird, just a little bit, that a country is like, you know what? I believe that you need to take this. You know what? The cure for this is broccoli. Everybody eat broccoli right now. You're not eating your broccoli? I will come to your fucking front door and put the broccoli in your face. Bitch, you're going to eat the broccoli. Eat it.
I'll say this. I can understand exactly where you're coming from and where the mindset might be. I can totally see that. However, having that suspicion, good to have the suspicion, I guess, as long as you don't let it dominate your way of life, which I feel it has become. But with the COVID vaccine, the reason I think that the country has come together collectively, at least at the higher echelons, to say, no, we need this vaccine to save lives. The reason that's happened is because internationally, doctors and scientists, people who have their reputations on the line, and people who have taken an oath to save lives, have said, no, we need to do this because you're putting lives at risk. The one thing I can trust is that doctors are not going to put their reputations on the line unless they're absolutely certain. Scientists are the same way in that sense. Their reputations mean everything. And the idea that they're going to save lives means a lot to them. And that's why in the United States, they say, no, this COVID vaccine is working. It needs to be done. And the reason that there's this suspicion to that is because there's always been suspicion whenever a country does something that collectively pulls together. I think the one time that Americans did pull together utterly and completely in this fashion, perhaps even greater, is when we were attacked on Pearl Harbor, where all the enemies of all the political talk against going to war with Germany or Japan just disappeared as soon as Japan attacked us. It disappeared. And then we devoted everything we had to winning the war. But that was our one goal, winning the war. Was that one thing that our country could agree on, was beating Germany, beating Italy, beating Japan. We agree we need to beat this COVID disease, this COVID virus. The problem is that people who are suspicious, naturally suspicious, and perhaps justifiably suspicious of anything, this idea that there is something globally happening and that there's a death sentence at the end of it. The reason that those people are getting more of a voice and being able to voice those things and getting political clout because of it is because politicians or people who want to enter politics have decided to latch on to this issue and play on those fears and suspicions. So that's why I feel there's this anger, hate, suspicion, distrust of anything that has to do with the vaccine, with the virus, the masks, whatever it might be. But the people who are doing the political grandstanding, that's what I call it, it's political grandstanding, are doing it at the expense of human lives, especially their own constituents, the ones who would actually vote for them if they actually said, no, actually, maybe it's a good idea to at least wear masks or take the vaccine just for a little while.
See, now here's the thing. I truly believe in doing everything that's necessary. Like, this is my personal stance. I believe that anything that's necessary to keep and prevent people from catching anything like masks, I'm with that. The vaccine, if you really trust that and you believe in your government and you believe in your country, go ahead and do that. Now, my thing is with this, I'm going to speak this from the other sides of the tracks. Black.
Yeah.
I understand why some of my people might feel hesitant about that, and that's true.
Absolutely.
In the regards of the Tuskegee experiments,
Yes, exactly.
and things like that. Like you can't just be so open-minded to something, to a place or an opposition that has been so openly, especially in these past few years, they've been so open about being your opt, being like against you. So you want me to take something where you have told me basically you don't fuck with me, and you want me to be okay and trust that everything is going to be okay. Do I look like Boo Boo the Fool to you? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm getting at. Like that right there alone makes people hesitant in that regard. So for that, I can see.
Vaccine on foreign affairs, I do believe that we should be giving it away at cost. Meaning no
So
profit.
we need to charge. Oh, I was about to say, like, we're about to charge
No
niggas for that?
We might charge them just for the shipping, or maybe for the vials themselves to make it. But no, we don't sell it for profit. We tell
No, not at all.
Give it away. Basically, we'll pay for the cost, but you're giving it away so we can end this as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
And I think that's my opinion on the foreign part of it, and especially on the areas where it's most vulnerable, and in an area where we don't necessarily have to force people. The United States doesn't, but the other governments can. So it's out of our hands. Not saying I agree with it, just saying politically we're in the clear.
I got you.
But that's my opinion. And in the US itself, I think a federal mandate for federal employees is a good idea.
Got you.
That's where I'm ending it. What do you do you have an opinion, or do you want to stay neutral or out of it, I should say?
I'm gonna let that one go.
Fair enough. All right, I hope this was a good video. I had a very fun time doing this.
Yeah, man, definitely. You can check us out. Check me out at the kingscouncil.com. That's Kings with a Z. Other than that, it's been good, man. It's been straight. Yeah.
You can check me out at Charlie Black 20 on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe to that channel to watch more great stuff. Me, my friend Carlos will be doing some videos. Me and Philip here are going to do some more videos, I hope.
For sure. For sure.
All right. Take care, my friends.
Take care, y'all.